It's time to cancel this 90-Day Fiancé spin-off as it's killing the franchise. The 90-Day Fiancé franchise, once a cultural phenomenon and a compelling exploration of international relationships, immigration policies, and cross-cultural dynamics, has slowly but surely been eroded by the sheer volume and diminishing quality of its spin-offs. While the original series offered a balanced mix of romance, cultural tension, emotional vulnerability, and legal hurdles, the franchise has now become a bloated, repetitive, and often exploitative machine. Among the many spin-offs, 90-Day Fiancé, Before the 90 Days, The Other Way, Pillow Talk, What Now, and others, there is one in particular that has become emblematic of everything wrong with the current direction of the brand: 90-Day Fiancé, Happily Ever After. Happily Ever After was initially introduced as a way to check in on couples from the main series after their 90-day journey concluded. Would they stay together? Did love survive the move, the visa process, and the reality of everyday life together? It was a logical and potentially insightful extension of the original premise. However, over time, the show has transformed from a reflective epilogue into a sensationalized, drama-driven spectacle that prioritizes conflict over authenticity and exploits personal tragedies for entertainment value. It's time to cancel Happily Ever After, not because the concept was flawed from the start, but because its execution has become detrimental to the entire 90-Day Fiancé brand. The core issue lies in the shift from storytelling to exploitation. The original 90-Day Fiancé was built on a foundation of real-life stakes, couples navigating the K-1 visa process, facing cultural misunderstandings, and confronting the reality of building a life together under immense pressure. There was an emotional honesty in the early seasons. Viewers empathized with couples like Sumit and Jasmine, David and Otsuko, or Michael and Angela as they grappled with language barriers, family disapproval, and financial strain. The show, while dramatic, felt grounded in reality. Happily Ever After, however, has abandoned that authenticity. Instead of offering a nuanced look at long-term relationships, it has become a platform for airing personal grievances, airing dirty laundry, and capitalizing on breakups, infidelity, and mental health struggles. The show now functions less as a continuation of love stories and more as a tabloid-style exposé. Couples who were once hopeful and in love are now presented as bitter, resentful, and performative. The editing amplifies conflict, often distorting timelines and motivations to create a narrative of inevitable doom. Take, for example, the recurring appearances of couples like Michael and Angela, or Lauren and Alex. Their stories were once inspiring, two people from vastly different worlds coming together against the odds. But in Happily Ever After, their arcs are reduced to shouting matches, accusations of laziness, and public displays of marital dissatisfaction. The show doesn't explore the complexity of long-term relationships, it reduces them to caricatures. It doesn't ask why couples struggle, it simply revels in the struggle. This shift is not only disappointing, it's harmful. The franchise has a responsibility to its participants, many of whom are vulnerable individuals navigating real emotional and legal challenges. By framing their private struggles as public entertainment, the show crosses an ethical line. Participants sign up for a reality show, yes, but there's a difference between documenting a journey and weaponizing personal pain for ratings. When a cast member discusses depression, financial hardship, or domestic tension, the show often responds not with empathy but with dramatic music, slow-motion cuts, and loaded commentary from talking head interviews. The result is a voyeuristic spectacle that prioritizes shock value over substance. Moreover, the repetitive nature of Happily Ever After has led to narrative fatigue. The formula is now predictable. Couple reunites, tension builds over cultural or financial differences, one partner feels neglected or disrespected, arguments escalate, and the season ends with either a dramatic reconciliation or a tearful breakup. Rinse and repeat. There's no evolution, no depth, no attempt to explore new themes or introduce fresh perspectives. Even the couples who seem stable are eventually pushed into conflict by producers who know that drama sells. This formulaic approach has bled into the broader franchise. Other spin-offs now mimic the tone and structure of Happily Ever After, focusing more on explosive confrontations than on the emotional or logistical realities of international relationships. Pillow Talk, for instance, turns cast members into gossipy commentators, encouraging them to speculate, judge, and stir the pot. What Now? Offers post-show updates but often does so through the lens of who cheated on whom or who filed for divorce. The franchise has become less about love and more about scandal. Another major problem is the lack of diversity in storytelling. While the original series featured couples from a wide range of countries, Mexico, the Philippines, Russia, Colombia, Japan, and beyond, Happily Ever After tends to focus on a narrow subset of cast members, often those with the most volatile relationships or the most dramatic backstories. This creates a skewed perception of what international relationships are like, reinforcing stereotypes about foreign partners being gold diggers, lazy, or manipulative. These portrayals are not only reductive but potentially damaging, feeding into xenophobic narratives and undermining the genuine cultural exchange the show once celebrated. The casting choices have also become increasingly problematic. In the early days, participants were often everyday people who stumbled into the spotlight through their unique love stories. Now, it's clear that many cast members are drawn to the franchise for fame, not love. They audition with dramatic storylines in mind, perform for the cameras, and return for multiple seasons because they've become reality TV personalities rather than real people navigating real relationships. This shift has turned the show from a documentary-style series into a scripted-like soap opera, where authenticity is sacrificed for entertainment. Worse still, the constant recycling of the same cast members across multiple spin-offs has created a bubble universe disconnected from reality. Viewers see the same faces, Lauren, Jasmine, Tiger Lily, Darcy, Jasmine, pop up in Happily Ever After, Pillow Talk, and various reunion specials, creating a sense of inescapable drama. This repetition not only exhausts the audience but also diminishes the impact of individual stories. When every couple is fighting, every relationship is failing, and every reunion is tense, the show loses its emotional resonance. Nothing feels significant because everything feels manufactured. The production team bears much of the responsibility for this decline. By prioritizing ratings over integrity, they've encouraged conflict, manipulated storylines, and failed to provide adequate support for cast members dealing with real issues. There have been reports of participants struggling with mental health, substance abuse, and even domestic violence after their time on the show, issues that are often hinted at on camera but never properly addressed. The franchise profits from their pain but offers little in the way of resources or follow-up care. Additionally, the editing techniques used in Happily Ever After are manipulative. Scenes are cut to imply causation where none exists, dialogue is taken out of context, and music cues are used to heighten emotion in ways that distort reality. A simple disagreement can be edited to look like a full-blown meltdown. A moment of vulnerability can be turned into a punchline. This kind of editing not only misrepresents the participants but also misleads the audience, creating a false narrative that serves the show's agenda rather than the truth. The consequences of this decline are evident in the audience's response. While 90 Day Fiancé still draws viewers, there's a growing sense of disillusionment. Fans who once tuned in for heartfelt stories now watch out of habit or morbid curiosity. Social media is filled with critiques of the show's direction, with many longtime viewers expressing disappointment and calling for a return to form. The novelty has worn off, and the emotional toll of watching the same cycles of dysfunction has left many feeling drained. Furthermore, the oversaturation of the franchise has diluted its impact. With new seasons and spin-offs released almost continuously, there's no time for reflection, no space for the audience to process what they've seen. The shows blur together, becoming a never-ending loop of arguments, revelations, and breakups. This constant churn prevents the franchise from evolving or taking risks. Instead, it doubles down on what's worked in the past: drama, betrayal, and emotional manipulation, even when that formula is clearly failing. Canceling Happily Ever After would not mean the end of the 90 Day Fiancé universe. On the contrary, it could be the first step toward revitalizing the brand. The show could return to its roots by focusing on new couples, authentic storytelling, and the real challenges of cross-cultural relationships. It could explore themes like immigration reform, family integration, and personal growth. It could highlight success stories, couples who made it work, built families, and found happiness without reducing them to background characters in someone else's drama. There's also room for innovation. The franchise could introduce limited-run documentary series that follow couples over several years, offering a more in-depth look at how relationships evolve. It could partner with immigration experts, therapists, and cultural consultants to provide context and support. It could even launch a spin-off focused on the children of 90-day couples, exploring identity, heritage, and belonging in a globalized world. The possibilities are endless, but only if the franchise is willing to let go of what's no longer working. Happily Ever After was once a promising concept. It offered a rare glimpse into the long-term outcomes of reality TV relationships, a genre that often ends at the altar. But instead of fulfilling that potential, it became a cautionary tale of how not to extend a successful series. By prioritizing sensationalism over sincerity, it has damaged the credibility of the entire franchise and alienated its core audience. It's time to admit that Happily Ever After has run its course. Continuing it only prolongs the franchise's decline and risks tarnishing the legacy of 90 Day Fiancé as a whole. A bold move, cancelling a flagship spin-off, could signal a commitment to quality, authenticity, and respect for the participants. It would show that the producers value the integrity of the story over the pursuit of ratings. The love stories that made 90 Day Fiancé a hit deserve better. The participants deserve better. The audience deserves better. Let Happily Ever After go, not with a dramatic breakup, but with the quiet dignity of knowing when something has served its purpose. In its place, let's make room for something new, something honest, something that remembers what made this franchise special in the first place: real love, real challenges, and real hope. Cancelling this spin-off isn't the end of 90 Day Fiancé, it could be the beginning of its redemption. These controversial 90 Day Fiancé, Happily Ever After Season 9 cast members have behind-the-scenes tensions. The 9th season of 90 Day Fiancé, Happily Ever After, has stirred significant buzz not only for the on-screen marital struggles of its cast but also for the growing reports of behind-the-scenes tensions among some of its most controversial members. While the show is known for its dramatic relationships and cultural clashes, this season has taken a turn toward off-camera conflict, with cast members allegedly feuding both during filming and in the months following production. These tensions, fueled by personal grievances, social media spats, and conflicting narratives, have raised questions about the authenticity of the relationships and the toll reality television takes on participants. One of the most talked-about couples this season is Jasmine Pineda and Gino Palazzolo. Their relationship, already under scrutiny due to their age gap and tumultuous history, has become a focal point of backstage drama. Sources close to production claim that Jasmine and Gino frequently clashed with producers over how their storyline was being portrayed. Jasmine reportedly felt that editing made her appear overly controlling, while Gino believed his efforts to be a responsible father and partner were being downplayed. The disagreements escalated to the point where both reportedly refused to attend joint cast events, opting instead to film their segments separately. This lack of cooperation reportedly frustrated the production team and disrupted the usual flow of filming reunion-style content. Adding to the tension is the presence of Larissa Diaz and Wesley Nault. Once hailed as one of the more stable couples from the franchise, their relationship has deteriorated both on and off camera. During the filming of Season 9, insiders say that Larissa and Wesley had multiple heated arguments that went beyond the scope of the show's narrative. Crew members described private shouting matches that required intervention, with topics ranging from financial disagreements to trust issues. What made the situation more complicated was the fact that both cast members brought friends and family onto set, which allegedly exacerbated the conflict. One source claimed that Wesley felt Larissa was being influenced by her sister, who often accompanied her during interviews, while Larissa accused Wesley of being emotionally detached and uncooperative. Another source of behind-the-scenes friction involves Lauren Bravanik and Alexei Lex Topolnitsky. While their relationship has always been a mix of deep affection and visible strain, Season 9 reportedly brought new challenges. According to production staff, Lex was often difficult to work with, frequently arriving late to filming and expressing dissatisfaction with the questions he was asked during confessional segments. Lauren, on the other hand, was described as professional and cooperative but visibly stressed by the process. The couple's decision to address Lex's past legal issues and ongoing mental health struggles on camera reportedly caused strain, with Lex feeling exposed and Lauren feeling pressured to defend their marriage. Their tension culminated in a now infamous off-camera argument that reportedly led to a temporary halt in filming. Perhaps the most explosive behind-the-scenes conflict involves Sumit Singh and Gypsy Lindner. Their relationship, which began with Sumit's controversial proposal on *The Other Way*, has been a lightning rod for criticism. During Season 9 filming, sources claim that Gypsy and Sumit had multiple disagreements about the direction of their story arc. Gypsy allegedly wanted to focus on her personal growth and independence, while producers pushed for more drama centered around their cultural differences and marital issues. This creative clash reportedly led to Gypsy walking off set during one filming session, prompting a delay in production. Sumit, meanwhile, was said to be frustrated by what he perceived as Gypsy receiving more sympathetic editing. The rift between them deepened in the months after filming, with both taking jabs at each other on social media, though neither directly named the other. The production team of Happily Ever After has long maintained a policy of minimal interference in cast dynamics, preferring to capture authentic reactions. However, Season 9 has tested that approach. Multiple cast members have reportedly complained about the lack of mental health support during and after filming. Some have expressed feeling manipulated by producers to escalate conflicts for entertainment value. One anonymous cast member revealed in a recent podcast interview that they were encouraged to rehash painful arguments on camera multiple times to get the right angle, leading to emotional exhaustion. Social media has further amplified the off-screen tensions. Fans have noticed a sharp decline in interactions between certain cast members online, with once friendly exchanges replaced by silence or passive-aggressive posts. For example, Jasmine and Larissa, who previously supported each other publicly, have not commented on each other's content in months. Similarly, Gypsy has unfollowed several cast members linked to Sumit's circle, fueling speculation of a deeper rift. TLC and the show's producers have not issued official statements addressing the behind-the-scenes drama. However, insiders suggest that the network is aware of the situation and is monitoring social media closely ahead of the season finale and potential reunion special. There are concerns that ongoing feuds could impact the reunion's dynamics, with some cast members reportedly hesitant to appear in the same room as others. Despite the tensions, 90 Day Fiancé, Happily Ever After, continues to draw strong viewership, with Season 9 ranking among the most watched in the spin-off's history. The drama, both on and off-screen, seems to be a major factor in its success. Yet, it also raises ethical questions about the responsibility networks have to their cast, particularly when filming emotionally charged content. As the season progresses, fans are left wondering how much of the conflict is genuine and how much is orchestrated for television. While the show prides itself on reality, the line between real-life struggles and manufactured drama has never been blurrier. For the cast of Season 9, the journey to Happily Ever After appears to be anything but smooth, both in front of the camera and behind the scenes.